We should be getting live right now. Let everyone get in here for a second. Welcome, everybody. Stay down, Soph. My dog's on my lap, but she wants to jump out because she doesn't like when I talk. She gets scared for some reason. Let's get a couple people in here, and then we can kind of get this started, get the fun started. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, everyone that supports me on Rumble. Make sure you guys are following this channel. Get the numbers up. We're still really low, but it's okay. We're getting views. But we got a couple of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about some of the photos that we've seen from behind the scenes at the Pittsburgh Pro. Samson Dauda looking huge. Huge. We're going to see photos of Hunter, Nick, all the guys at the guest posing. Then I want to talk about the show so far. Men's physique, wellness, bikini, all divisions, and just some overall thoughts and talk about some other trending topics I want to discuss with you guys. It's going to be a good show. And a Crizzo update. And also, what else do I want to talk? Oh, Brandon Curry. That's right. Brandon Curry's story. So a couple of good things to talk about today. And I think it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So let's get this started. Let's first talk about how massive Samson Dauda is looking in this group photo with Nick, Sean, Hunter, and Derek. Now, is he out-angling everybody? Yeah. Let me show you the photo. But it's still very impressive what he looks like. It doesn't matter. It does not matter that he is out-angling people because he looks fucking huge. Look at his photos of Samson. Just look at him as far as like structure and stature goes. How much bigger he is than everybody. Because remember, Samson's 6 foot tall. You know, for size comparison, you know, Hunter's probably 5'7". Nick's probably 5'7". He's got like 5 inches on these guys, maybe 6 inches on some of them. Sean Clarita, he's got like 8 inches on. I mean, just a monster of a human. Monster of a human. And on top of it, he's the closest one to the camera, so therefore he's going to look the biggest. I mean, that's just default. He's going to look bigger. But he is full-blown off-season, mass monster mode, full bulk. Look at that face. It's filling out pretty large and in charge. As you can see, Hunter, he's still got a pretty full face. He's still 13 weeks out. He's technically still in the very beginning stages of his prep. So I don't expect Hunter to look like anything crazy right now as far as like his face goes and stuff like that. Sophie, just relax. My dog's spazzing out. Derek doesn't look crazy until he takes his clothes off. The only thing that's crazy on Derek when he's walking around is his width. Like his shoulders are just like, it looks like he's wearing shoulder pads. And you got Nick Walker wearing the tank top, as always, not afraid to show the guns no matter what. Not worried about covering up and hiding. He just wears the fucking tank top and shorts, doesn't give a fuck. That's why I love Nick. And then Sean Clarita's looks like he's ready to go play in the snow. He's got his snowsuit on. He looks like he's literally like 3 times as wide than he really is with the sweatshirt being sticking out so much. But obviously Sean Clarita's waist is not big. It just looks like that. But he looks like the bottomless snowman. Interesting. Being sticking out. My mic is not cut out, so I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. Looking at your guys' comments. But yeah, this is a very interesting photo I wanted to talk about with you guys. And then you guys saw this one, obviously. Where the hell is it? Shit, it's not on this page. Well, I'll show that one in a second. So now let's talk about yesterday's men's classic physique top 2. Michael DeBull and this kid Eric Wilderberger. Looks really good, this kid Eric. Honestly, I don't know why they picked Michael over him. I don't know what would determine Michael over him. I think maybe because Wilderberger needs a little bit more leg. I don't know. He's pretty much perfect, and so is Michael. So Michael's conditioning, I think, was a little bit better than Eric, and I think his structure's a little bit better than Eric. Eric's a little. I'm being very mean when I say this. They might think Eric's a little boxy from the front. And that's like being super harsh and critical Okay. You know, he's got a great physique. It's just his rib box is a little too big, I think. And I don't know. He's proportionate though. He looks good. Like he's just super tall. He's a little long in some shots, but Michael's just insanely ripped. I mean, his conditioning is just like fucking wild. I mean, it really is. But the shape on the other guy is not the best. That's the problem. And he doesn't pose his weight. He doesn't pose his body correctly to hide his weaknesses and show his strengths. And I think that's why he loses these shows that he could potentially win. It's unfortunate because I think the other guy could have won if he posed better. But Michael DeBole looks really, really good here. I don't think there's much difference in him from show to show. The lighting is much different here at the Olympia. So I would not use these two photos as a comparison to say which looks better. I think he's pretty much identical to what he was at the Olympia. He may be a tad fuller here, but you can't go by these photos because they're both two different lighting. These angles, these photos are shot from two different lengths. Like one's closer to the stage, one's further from the stage. You can tell how the photo's cropped and they're zoomed in. The other guy, listen, he's got a really good physique, okay? But I don't know if he's classic enough. I would almost say to this kid, you know what? Take some time off and push bodybuilding. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to really do in classic because he's going to be top of the class, if not already. And it's going to be hard for him to keep growing and growing and growing. He's got a great look. Got some good hair for now. And I think he could do really well in bodybuilding if he wanted to push himself. I don't know how tall he is, though. I'm curious to know how tall he is. Let me see if we can find a comparison so I can tell you. Oh, he looks pretty tall. Yeah, he's definitely tall. He's every bit of 5'11", 6 foot. Yeah, I mean, I think, oh, man, he was a men's physique guy first? This is interesting. This story's getting deeper. Wow, 2020 was men's physique. So that just shows you. Kid's growing. Oh, he must have had a nasty tear here. What the fuck? Oof. That's not good. But he's got good potential, man. I think if he really wanted to fill his frame out, I mean, he could be a really good open bodybuilder. Doesn't have the best arms. Doesn't have the best triceps or biceps. I'll tell you that right now. Little narrow on the shoulders, but looks good. I think his potential would be maxed out. I think he'd be maxed out at class of physique, and he probably can see his full potential in open bodybuilding if he wanted to push it that far. I'm not saying he has to. I'm not saying he has to keep growing, but looks really good. He does. He looks really good. Like I said, the things that are going to hold him back, though, is the shape, and I think he can only get so far in class of physique with his shape like that. I think the only way he's going to be able to like see this through, if he wants to keep going, is to do open bodybuilding because you can hide a lot of these structural flaws by getting just super massive and packing on the muscle. You can't do that in class of physique. You have to rely on your shape and your symmetry and your beautiful lines. And this kid doesn't have that. He has good lines, but he's going to get killed at the Olympia when he stands next to those guys with the really good lines. He looks good. He looks really good. Don't get me wrong. He's a very, very good athlete. But the posing's not that great. Conditioning's good here. Look at the conditioning here. This is good. Like that back would look so much better filled out. Because you can tell he's got more of a W back. It's like a W. It's not a U. So you need a lot more thickness on that back in order for it to look like crazy V-tapered and crazy in shape. But, you know, maybe he doesn't want to get that big, you know, and that's totally understandable too. I wouldn't want to get that big either if I was also a men's physique guy first. That's a big step already. From men's physique to classic is a huge difference. I mean, everything is different from the starting point to how you prepare, to how you pose, how you prep, how you do everything is vastly different from class of physique to physique. So you got to understand that too. So he's got to move slow. If he doesn't move slow, he's going to ruin his physique. And if he does it fast, it's going to look like a pile of shit on stage. So he's got to go very slow, an inch, and then he can worry about what he wants to do next. So I'll just take it day by day. So let's talk about the next story, which is men's physique real quick. Just want to touch on it because I was so impressed by this guy, Corey. Sorry, I'm pulling up the page. I lost it. Who is the best? It's Who is the Best BB, which is bodybuilding on Instagram. It's his page. It has all the updates on here. So Ryan Terry has been competing in men's physique for God knows how long, probably a decade. This guy, Corey, came on, and man, look at those pecs. Look at that chest. Look at those shoulders. Look at those arms. Great midsection. I mean, phenomenal midsection. The back on this guy is just unbelievable. Look how much muscles in his erectors and his lower back, and look how it ties in. Like, I mean, look how beautiful his attachments are. Like, don't get me wrong, Ryan Terry looks really good, but he doesn't have this super round, dense muscle like this guy. Look at this guy's rear delts popping through. I mean, that is a phenomenal physique. Look how big this guy's fucking shoulders are. Look at that. Look how much shoulder there is here. He has to turn his arm back a little bit more to be even with this one. But, man, I know he doesn't have legs, but I don't give a fuck because he's a men's physique. But, man, this was crazy competition. This guy just looks like a fucking Terminator to me. I mean, he looks like he has tits. Ryan Terry looks like he has pecs. These are tits. I mean, look at that full muscle belly. Look at the light reflecting off it. That tells you how round someone is right there. The light reflecting off of him in a perfect tan. Great conditioning on both guys. But Ryan Terry's got the little bit of the flatter muscle, not as round and super glycogen loaded because I hate to be racist here and sound like one, but he's got the white guy genetics where you don't have this super round, full muscle belly look. Ryan Terry looks great, but this guy's muscle bellies are just like, they're just so thick and bubbly and like just, it looks like they're artificially inflated with air. I mean, it looks like he's wearing like a muscle suit. That's what this guy looks like. That's how crazy his muscle bellies are. But Ryan Terry might get the nod. I don't think they depict the winner yet. I haven't been staring at it all day. But I just wanted to highlight what these guys looked like because it was fucking wild looking. Wild. Let's look at, real quick. Hold on here. I lost it. Bear with me. But while we're taking a little break for a second, remember, all these podcasts are always sponsored by oldschoolabs.com. If you guys would like to try these products out, the ones I suggest you guys try first are Blast Max, Nitro 3D, which is my product I designed. It's an intra-workout formula. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to use this product. If you're an athlete of any kind that trains for a long time, you really want to push yourself, Nitro 3D will work for you. And it will help you push your workouts even longer and harder than you typically do. You'll be able to push your strength better than you ever have before, your energy, your focus. It's just going to be, I'm telling you guys, next level, like beyond anything you've ever felt before on intra-workout. And the one question I see all the time is like, can I combine this with a pre-workout? Yes, absolutely. So I suggest you guys take your pre-workout at least 30, 40 minutes before you train. And then what you do is you start sipping on your Nitro 3D as soon as you start training, but just baby sips. You're not gulping it down like every time you drink on it. You go like this. You grab the bottle, right? Little sip, right? You put it down, you go do more sets, you do more. And every time you go back and get the bottle, little sip, little sip. Throughout the entire workout, you drink it. You don't finish before the workout. You finish at the end of the weight training. With the weight training, you finish it off. That's all. And that's how you use it. And then you do your post-workout stuff and you keep it moving. And I don't know why people cannot understand how to use an intra-workout. I don't know why it's so confusing. Mix it with a good amount of water so you have enough water to stay hydrated. You can dilute it more. It's okay. It's not going to ruin it. But you don't want to under-dilute it. That's the only thing. All right. So let's talk about, real quick here, NPC Pittsburgh. I just want to highlight, they don't have the fucking photos either. Who has the photos for the Bikini. I just want to talk about this real quick, just because Ashley Kaltwasser is just fucking phenomenal. Here we go. Buys and Tries has it on Instagram. So I know you guys probably don't follow Bikini that are watching this, but it was very interesting to see Ashley Kaltwasser again in the top call-outs for Bikini. This girl has won, I don't even know how many shows at this point, but she is absolutely dominating and just literally just, I don't know how she preps for this many shows. Even staying in shape as long as she has, it's crazy to me that she still is able to do this well in this many shows. Like, yeah, you can stay in shape. And it's obviously easier to hit your target when you're in shape, but to be able to keep going and going and going like she does and never really come off, I mean, that is like, it's impressive. Like, I have rarely seen an athlete do that before, ever. I think Ashley's the only one in any division to be able to do that. I really do. Oh, wow. Is this really true? Chris Aceto's coaching GoodVito? Huh. Interesting. So there you go. We can talk about that too in a second, actually. Just live right now. I mean, look how ripped Michael the Bull is. I mean, look how crazy that is. Look how ripped this guy is. This is nuts. I mean, that is like, that's just next level conditioning. Where is the freaking Bikini shit? I had it before and I saved it and now I lost it. Anyway, Bikini, Ashley Kaltwasser, I just wanted to talk about her for a second because the girl works her ass off and it's just insane to me how many shows she nails consistently, show after show, and never seems to get discouraged no matter what she places, even if it's close second. She never loses momentum. She never loses motivation. And I think more people need to duplicate what she's doing because she stays relevant, even though she's not the youngest girl anymore. She's been around for a while, but she's mastered how to stay in shape and peak time and time again with her coach. It's very respectful. That's all. I wanted to give her respect. All right, so real quick, let's talk about Brandon Curry's post yesterday, which I thought was a little bizarre, but I'll explain why. All right, so here we go. This is Brandon Curry's post. So I saw this. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's showing himself guest pose. But I read the post. So here he goes. It's officially the NBC Pittsburgh weekend. I wanted to wish the Mannion family and all their competitors the very best on stage and say thank you to President Jim Mannion for the special invitation to guest pose. And an even bigger thank you for understanding why I couldn't be there. I decided not to guest pose this year because it fell on the same weekend that I'm celebrating my 15th wedding anniversary and Mother's Day with my wife and my family. It's a significant anniversary for my wife and I, so I promise not to miss it. If there's one single thing that I owe them more of, it's my time. And then he says that, and then proceeds to follow it up with, I'll be heading back to O2 Gyms Kuwait again soon for my 2023 Mr. Olympia prep, so I'll be making the most out of my time that I've left with my beautiful family. Here's a clip to my 2019 guest posing. Now, why did he pick 2019? That was 4 years ago. You know why he picked that year? Why did he pick that year, guys? Anyone know? Because he hasn't looked good in so many years. I'm just kidding. No, seriously. I mean, I think that was his best season was 2019. Was that the year he won the Olympia, I think, maybe? 2019? Or is it? Yeah, it was 2019 because Rodin won 2018. So that's probably why he picked that year. So that was when he was taking it very serious all year. That just shows you how much this guy's potential could be if he actually maximized training all year and took it serious. Those are the years where he was just on bodybuilding clock 24/7. Now that he's not taking it that serious, I just can't imagine him doing any damage next year at the Olympia, or I should say this year at the Olympia, especially with all this new fucking talent coming up. I don't know, guys. I don't think he can get away with not training for 8 months a year and then coming back and trying to train for 2-3 months, 4 months, tops, and then trying to get on the Olympia stage and trying to beat these guys, especially with Andrew Jack and Samson and GoodVito and all these fucking freaks coming around. I think Brandon Curry's going to have a rude awakening this year if he doesn't take it serious. And he's not, obviously. He's not training, obviously. He's not doing anything. until he gets to Kuwait. So he just waits. He stays natural. He gets very skinny. He got very mad at me for talking about that. So I talked about what his weight got down to one off season. He didn't like me airing that out at all. And it's just unfortunate that Brandon Curry wasted a lot of years not doing things properly. And now, looking back in hindsight, I think the only reason why Brandon Curry didn't have the career that he had in 2019 when he won the Olympia earlier is because he wasn't dedicated to it like he was when he was dedicated in 2018 and 2019, when he took it really serious with Abdullah at Oxygen Gym. I think if he took it seriously back in earlier years when he was working with Hani Rambod and George Farah and Aceto, everybody, he would have been probably a really good bodybuilder back then. Because what's different from 2019 versus the rest of those years that he was bodybuilding? Nothing. The only thing different is how dedicated he was to prepping and how consistent he was in the offseason. You can't expect to win bodybuilding shows at that level or do well when you prep for only 3-4 months a year and you try to get on stage not doing anything else the rest of the year. It's not going to work. It's just not enough. These guys are too good. It's like the UFC. It's the best way I can compare it to, like the analogy, because the UFC used to have boxers come over, crossover, jiu-jitsu guys, wrestlers, Muay Thai, like fucking whatever martial arts, right? And it'd be like karate guys fighting boxers or jiu-jitsu guys fighting wrestlers, right? Now it's mixed martial arts. It's MMA more than anything right now. So these guys are coming over and they're talented in everything. They have kickboxing, they have boxing, they have jiu-jitsu, they have wrestling, they have everything because they go to MMA schools and they learn everything from scratch. So now you have a well-rounded fighter in the ring versus a well-rounded fighter. It's just like bodybuilding now. These guys are not doing it just for a couple months or taking time off, more time off than time on. They're just on. They're doing bodybuilding 24/7 no matter what, no matter where they travel, how much they travel. They're doing it every day no matter what happens. And that's just how it is. It's more competitive. There's more athletes out there that are better than they used to be. So the pool of guys has gotten a lot better. And it's raised the bar a lot higher for these guys. So you can't snooze off 6 months a year and expect to be on only 6 months and be able to make the same progress as someone that's pushing it 12 months a year. You're eventually going to fall behind because he's making double the amount of progress and you're only making single amount of progress, right? So someone's doing, like YouTube, I'm doing 2 videos a day, you're doing 1 video a day. I'm always going to be ahead of you 50%. It's just a simple numbers game. So if these people are training harder than you and longer than you and putting more effort into this longer than you have at that time, they're going to pass you eventually because they're making up double time. Even if they're 5 years, even if Brandon's 5 years ahead of people are going to eventually pass him because they're doing double the work. Just sucks. It's what it is. But I hope Brandon understands that he's probably not going to win another Mr. Olympia. So is this time away from his family now worth it? Why can't he just lock it down now mentally and do it here? He knows what the formula is. Why can't you just block things out? If you have to, stay in another fucking house or something if you can't live at home with your family. There's too many distractions and your wife makes you do too much stuff. I don't know. Is it really necessary to go to Kuwait to lift weights at this point? Hasn't he learned enough about how to train and what he needs to do to maximize it? If I was Brandon, I'd probably really think twice about going back to Kuwait and missing my family and my wife that long again. Because his kids are getting older, he's getting older. Is the risk really worth that reward? Is the time really worth the reward? It's a tough situation to gauge because obviously we're not in it, but I do understand what he's trying to do, but I also at the same time don't think it's worth it. He's at the end of his career. I would probably put other things as a priority than trying to win the Mr. Olympia right now. Because there's just no way he's going to come back and win the Olympia. It's impossible. There's not even a 1% chance in me thinks that's possible of him winning the Olympia again. And that year, to be honest with you, was he really the winner? Was he really the winner? Yeah, he won. So, yeah, now it's just way too competitive. There's just too many fucking good bodybuilders. But let's talk about what we just saw, though, with this GoodVito post. Like, that was very interesting. I got to reach out to Chris now. Aceto. Yeah, here it is. Show you guys. For the ones tuning in now, I just caught this. I got to do some research on this, see what's going on. Chris Aceto is coaching GoodVito. Remember when GoodVito was looking for a coach? I put up the post talking about it because he put up a post on Instagram. So I guess Aceto slid in there. Aceto slid in the DMs, and he got GoodVito. Look out, guys. Aceto's going to be in your DMs creeping on you. No, I'm just kidding. I love Chris. I think Chris is a really, really good guy. He's a gent. He's a good guy. I'm going to actually reshare this right now on Instagram so everyone knows that GoodVito is the man with Chris Aceto. This was 1 day ago. How the fuck did I miss this? I have to talk about this on the podcast. What do you guys think? This would be a good story to talk about. Big news. Is there anything you guys want to talk about today? Is there anything in the comments? Any guys in the chat today want to talk about something? Give you guys an opportunity to bring up a topic real quick before we get off the news. Get off the news today. Anything? Anyone? Anything at all? You guys have any? You guys got to hurry up here. You can't be waiting all day to put a thing in because people are going to watch this afterwards and be bored out of their minds. Before we go, I got one more thing to talk about, though. So, Crizzo. I want to talk about Crizzo. So, since you guys are slow at answering me, no one's in the chat. Let's talk about Crizzo's update because this was fucking bananas. And me and Crizzo were going back and forth today in the DMs. It was kind of funny, actually. I'll tell you what he said in a second. So I saw this, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, how is he getting so much bigger as he gets leaner? Because it's not even just like, oh, because he's getting leaner, Nick, he looks bigger. No. This guy's thicker and denser and rounder. And, like, the muscle bellies on this guy are just, like, insane. Like, look how thick his pecs are here and his traps and his chest and his upper chest, the clavicle. Like, look at all that meat up here, guys. Like, this is super, super impressive. I mean, and the fact that his waist is still small, he's this lean. I mean, look at his form. Look at his flexor muscles. Fucking nuts. Like, I'm blown away by the way he looks. Blown away. Some of the best arms I've ever seen on a tall bodybuilder. Like, ever. He's just a freak. Like, it's not like he's short and he's jacked. He's tall and jacked. I mean, like, jacked. And his conditioning is so good. I hope he continues to have this type of conditioning. I mean, I hope he keeps pushing this even further. He's 5 weeks out, he said. So I put up a post today, like, as a joke. Look at that look at that long head and long head of the tricep. Look where it attaches back here. This is why his arm looks so fucking, look how fucking horse leg. Look at that. That's nuts. Calves for days. Jesus Lord, he's going to dominate. Jesus Lord, he's going to dominate. I lost my train of thought now. This guy's so jacked. Oh, his DMs. So I put up a poll today, like, as a joke, and I wrote, basically, I put the poll up and I said, is Crizzo pushing, I put a leaf as like a vegan, and I put a steak. Is he pushing, a lot of meat to get big? Or is Crizzo pushing, oh, sorry. No, the first poll I put up, I apologize. The first poll I put up was a pill and a syringe. I said, which one is Crizzo taking more of? And he sent me a DM. And he's like, bro, I don't like the steroid. I don't like the steroid talk. Like, I don't want to be painted as like a steroid abuser and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get what he was trying to say in English, but came out in like Spanglish because he doesn't speak English. He's from Poland. So I told him, I said, okay, let me fix it. So I fixed it. And I put up the leaf for vegan and the meat for steak. And then I put up the little pill thing, I didn't use the syringe this time. I was like, is this better? I'm like, I'm not insulting you. I'm a big fan of you. I'm like, I didn't mean to insult you, but I thought it was just funny though that he picked it up on it and he saw it that quickly. Because it happened like 2 minutes after I posted it. He was like, bro. I said, don't worry, Crizzo. I'll meet you at the Olympia. Actually, I said Olympics. And I said, I'll meet you at the Olympics. Don't worry. We'll have a good laugh. I'm a super fan. I think you're phenomenal. I respect you. So, yeah, I think Crizzo's an amazing bodybuilder. I really do. And I think I like his personality, even though I can't understand him. I feel like if he spoke English, I'd be able to vibe with him really well. I vibe with him even though he doesn't speak English. So I think we'd be friends if I met Crizzo. He's doing a show in Spain in, I don't know how many weeks it is. I forget. He's doing a show in Spain. He'll qualify. No, who the fuck is beating that guy? There's only like a handful, and count on one hand that could beat him right now. A handful. Last year was a fluke. He got that 12th placing because like they didn't want to give him too high of a placing. And don't get me wrong, he didn't look the best either, but he will smoke a lot of people. I really do. I think he's going to smoke everybody, especially once his posing is where it needs to be and his presentation is where it needs to be. And he starts to actually present his physique, hiding those weaknesses that he has, the longer torso, the hams, the smaller glutes. He's got to bring that butt up. He's got to equal out the posterior chain. Because when you look at his back shots, it's all thrown off because the middle, the focal point of the back shot isn't as developed as the rest. It's like having literally no abs from the front. Imagine a bodybuilder flexing and showing up and he has no abs, it's just skin. There's no separation. That would look weird, right? So same thing from behind. You got to have glutes to match the hams and the back that he has on the arms. It's too small. They're hard, they're lean. The tie-ins are there, but he needs to develop them more. So he needs to do more isolation training for the glutes. He's got to have maybe like multiple glute days a week. Like that's what I used to do because my glutes were behind for a while. And I brought up my glutes by doing them 2-3 times a week. I tried to do them in the morning fasted. I did adductions all the time. And they brought up my glutes and glute kickbacks, reverse hypers. You got to build up that mass. You really do. Yeah, it's necessary for him to go to the next level. The posing and the posterior chain. And if he corrects one of those for the 23 Olympia, he's going to be up there in that first call out. You bet your fucking money on it. He's going to be in that first call out. He's too big and ripped and good and muscular to not be. He's got great lines too, so you can't hold that guy back for too long. People will have a shit fit. I mean, I'll have a shit fit if he doesn't get moved up. Like, it'll piss me off. So, yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Oh, Crizzo versus Nathan. I think right now, if I had to bet on it, I'd probably take Nathan over him because Nathan's got a little more muscle on him. And he's a little more developed in the areas that Crizzo isn't. I think they're equal when it comes to genetics, though. Like, I think they're both pretty genetically superior as one another. But I think since Nathan's got a few more years and a little bit more muscle in certain areas, more balanced, he does have a longer torso, just like Crizzo does. So they're both equal there. But Nathan's back shots are really good. They're really good. Nathan's conditioning's really good. He's never really been off. Like, he had one not so good showing the New York Pro when he was like supposed to be prepping with Matt, but he was prepping with AJ, and it was all over the place. Probably listening to too many people. That was the only year that I saw Nathan. I actually saw him in the flesh there too, where I was like, I'm not that impressed. But that was the only show I can recall where Nathan didn't look good. But we have a lot of guys to keep track of this year, guys. Like, Nathan's going to be doing multiple shows. Hunter's doing multiple shows. Crizzo will probably do more than one show, I'm assuming. Maybe, maybe not. GoodVito is going to be coming. Andrew Jack's going to be coming. Derek is only doing the Olympia. Fuck. Nick, Olympia, Hottie. Who knows if he's going to be able to get here? Like, imagine this storyline before I go. Hottie Chupan, the Mr. Olympia, blah, 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 blah. Can't get here due to travel ban in Iran. And then we automatically have a new champion. That's a high possibility of happening. That is not a slim possibility. Yes, he's made it here recently to America, but it doesn't mean he's going to make it next year. Every year is a fucking gamble for that guy to get here. And that's why Hani Rambod needs to get him here with Evogen and just get him a fucking citizenship somehow. Like, adopt him or something, Hani. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you guys want to support, check out oldschoollabs.com, alphaliteathletics.com. Thank God for them in my corner. They're very supportive of what's going on, and they're very helpful. Use my code NickBS, guys. Go shop in there. Support myself. Support the brands that are awesome. They support me. You guys will find something you like. Trust me. There's tons of options to pick from. And if you guys want the bodybuilding and BS old school content, I'm going to call it now, that will be on Patreon. All my training, my transformation, all that type of stuff is going to be on Patreon and Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, bodybuilding and BS. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.